Cozy rustic farmhouse garden ideas for small open-plan homes. Welcome to an exploration of rustic farmhouse garden design, a style that has found renewed importance in 2025 and beyond. This movement is not only about decorating an outdoor area, it is about shaping a lifestyle and defining how architecture, interiors, and landscapes interact seamlessly. In small homes with open layouts, the rustic farmhouse garden becomes both a visual extension of the interior and a functional outdoor retreat, where simplicity and warmth are expressed through natural textures, timeless materials, and thoughtful spatial arrangements. The resurgence of this aesthetic speaks to a collective desire for comfort, authenticity, and a return to slower, more intentional living. The charm of the rustic farmhouse style lies in its tactile honesty. Materials such as weathered wood, reclaimed stone, galvanized metal, and wrought iron create a sense of heritage, as though each element carries a story from the past into the present. In compact yards, creative use of these materials allows homeowners to design spaces that are deeply personal and rich with character. Reclaimed wood planters, old wine barrels converted into pots, or vintage galvanized tubs serve not only as functional vessels for plants, but also as sculptural elements that add authenticity and charm. This use of repurposed items emphasizes sustainability, reminding us that beauty often lies in renewal rather than consumption. The open layout of small modern homes offers an ideal foundation for extending rustic style from the indoors outward. Large sliding doors, folding glass panels, or wide windows dissolve the barriers between kitchen, living room, and garden, creating a single unified flow. This architectural feature allows natural light and air to penetrate the home while visually expanding the living space. To maintain cohesion, color palettes and material choices inside and outside the home are carefully aligned. Neutral tones such as whites, creams, and sage greens, when paired with textures like jute rugs, linen fabrics, and reclaimed wood furniture, allow the rustic farmhouse atmosphere to transcend boundaries and connect every corner of the property. Unlike overly manicured landscapes, farmhouse gardens celebrate informality and function. Gravel pathways edged with lavender or thyme invite a sensory experience, releasing fragrance with every step. Stepping stones, softened by moss or creeping ground cover, add to the impression of a garden that has evolved naturally over time. In small spaces, every square foot carries meaning. So raised garden beds constructed from reclaimed timber or corrugated metal panels are both practical and aesthetically aligned with the farmhouse spirit. They provide opportunities for growing herbs, vegetables, and flowers, creating not just visual delight, but also a productive and self-sufficient outdoor lifestyle. Vertical gardening emerges as an essential technique for maximizing limited space. Rustic trellises, wall-mounted planters, and hanging baskets bring greenery upward, adding layers of depth and life to even the most compact courtyards. A repurposed wooden ladder becomes a charming tiered planter filled with trailing vines, while an old pallet transformed into a vertical herb garden turns a simple wall into a lush, edible canvas. These vertical elements expand the perceived size of the garden, offering richness and variety without crowding the ground plane. Furniture selection within this design approach balances nostalgia with practicality. A simple wooden bench placed beneath a tree offers a moment of quiet reflection. A set of mismatched vintage chairs arranged around a wrought iron bistro table evokes the casual, welcoming spirit of farmhouse hospitality. Soft furnishings, checkered cushions, linen throws, burlap runners introduce tactile comfort and warmth. Lantern-style string lights or vintage oil lamps extend the usability of the space into the evening, transforming the garden into a setting for both solitude and gathering. Repurposed furniture pieces, such as a dresser, reimagined as a potting station, or an antique door used as a garden gate, provide an added layer of personality and narrative. Water features, though not always required, play an important role in elevating the sensory atmosphere. A galvanized tub converted into a fountain, a traditional hand pump spout, or a weathered stone bird bath introduces sound, movement, and wildlife to the garden. The gentle trickle of water or the sight of birds gathering at a basin enriches the experience of the space, bringing a tranquil dimension to the rustic aesthetic. Even in small-scale gardens, these features serve as focal points that balance hardscape and softscape elements, enhancing serenity and presence. The rustic farmhouse garden ultimately embodies the idea of escape from the pressures of urban life, from artificial perfection, from fast-paced consumption. It is not about size or cost, but about intention, memory, and connection. In small homes with open layouts, this style turns constraints into opportunities, proving that limited square footage can still host spaces filled with character, beauty, and meaning. By embracing weathered textures, cohesive palettes, informal layouts, and thoughtful reuse, the rustic farmhouse garden becomes not only an extension of the home, but also a narrative of timeless living. It is where simplicity meets comfort, and where design tells a story rooted in both tradition and modern aspiration. As the rustic farmhouse garden continues to gain momentum in 2025, it becomes clear that this style is not confined to nostalgia alone. It actively evolves by embracing current architectural trends, adapting to the needs of modern lifestyles, and looking toward the future of sustainable living. While rooted in tradition, the farmhouse garden has grown into a dynamic expression of design innovation, where timeless aesthetics harmonize with contemporary techniques. This evolution allows small homes with open layouts to achieve an ideal balance of warmth, efficiency, and forward-thinking elegance. One of the strongest drivers of the farmhouse garden's resurgence is the desire for authenticity in an increasingly digital and fast-paced world. Homeowners seek tactile experiences, places where hands touch raw wood, where feet walk on gravel paths, where the scent of herbs and flowers grounds the senses. This craving for genuine connections manifests in the choice of natural materials and handcrafted elements. Reclaimed barnwood becomes benches, vintage wrought iron gates frame entryways, and handmade clay pots line garden walls. Each object speaks of time, craftsmanship, and care, contrasting sharply with the disposable culture that defines much of modern life. In small homes, these details carry even more weight because every piece must contribute meaning and value to the limited space available. Open concept living continues to shape the way farmhouse gardens are designed. By erasing boundaries between interior and exterior, the garden becomes not just an accessory, but a natural continuation of the home itself. The placement of outdoor kitchens, dining areas, or lounges adjacent to living spaces reflects the way families now gather and entertain. Sliding doors open to reveal patios layered with rustic furnishings, while bifold windows allow fresh air and conversation to flow easily between kitchen counters and garden tables. The rustic style, with its emphasis on coziness and informality, perfectly complements this architectural direction, creating a seamless experience of indoor-outdoor harmony. Sustainability stands at the heart of contemporary farmhouse gardens, making them not only beautiful, but also environmentally responsible. Upcycling remains a hallmark of the style, but innovations in sustainable materials and practices are expanding its scope. Recycled metal sheets become raised planters, solar-powered lanterns illuminate pathways, and rainwater collection systems feed garden beds. The rustic aesthetic naturally welcomes these choices, as their raw and weathered qualities blend effortlessly with the character of the space. Homeowners increasingly view their gardens as miniature ecosystems, places where bees, butterflies, and birds coexist with human activity, reinforcing the value of biodiversity in even the smallest yards. Designers are also paying closer attention to multifunctionality, a necessity in compact homes. Every element of a rustic farmhouse garden is carefully considered for both beauty and practicality. A pergola draped with climbing roses may also serve as a shaded dining area. A reclaimed wooden crate may double as both storage and a side table. A trellis supporting vines provides privacy while enhancing the vertical greenery of the space. In this way, design solutions go beyond surface decoration, ensuring that small gardens remain livable, purposeful, and adaptable. Plant selection continues to reflect both style and practicality. Rustic farmhouse gardens favor hardy, low-maintenance species that offer seasonal beauty and resilience. Lavender, rosemary, thyme, and sage bring not only fragrance but also culinary value, reinforcing the idea that the garden is a productive extension of the home. Climbing plants like ivy or wisteria soften walls and trellises, while hydrangeas and daisies introduce bursts of nostalgic color. The charm lies in their arrangement, informal clusters, winding borders, and natural groupings, rather than rigid patterns. This creates a lived-in, welcoming atmosphere that feels spontaneous yet curated. Lighting plays an increasingly important role in shaping mood and extending usability. In rustic farmhouse gardens, light is rarely harsh or industrial. Instead, it glows softly, evoking warmth and intimacy. String lights draped across pergolas, lanterns set upon wooden tables, or candles in repurposed mason jars bring evening gatherings to life. Solar-powered fixtures further align with sustainable practices, making it possible to enjoy the garden long after sunset without compromising eco-conscious values. In compact gardens, the careful placement of lighting highlights textures, casts inviting shadows, and creates the illusion of greater depth. Another trend, defining the present and influencing the future, is personalization. While rustic farmhouse gardens share common design elements, no two are identical. Homeowners are encouraged to imprint their own stories into the space. Some incorporate heirloom furniture or family tools as decorative accents. Others design themed corners, such as a reading nook beneath a reclaimed pergola or a small meditation spot surrounded by aromatic herbs. These personal touches transform a rustic farmhouse garden into more than a trend. They make it a narrative, though a living archive of experiences, memories, and identities. Water, once an optional feature, is becoming increasingly significant as designers recognize its ability to calm and rejuvenate. Even the smallest gardens can accommodate simple water elements, a trough-style fountain, a vintage bird bath, or a recycled stone basin. The sound of trickling water masks urban noise, attracting wildlife and enhancing relaxation. In forward-looking designs, water features are integrated into sustainable systems, where rainwater is harvested and recycled to nourish both plants and decorative elements, creating a closed-loop cycle that aligns beauty with ecological mindfulness. As rustic farmhouse gardens evolve, they also anticipate the future of housing and community living. With growing interest in small homes, co-housing projects, and urban villages, the farmhouse aesthetic adapts easily to collective outdoor spaces. Shared courtyards designed with rustic elements foster social interaction while maintaining a sense of intimacy. Raised community beds, communal outdoor kitchens, and shared pergola lounges illustrate how the farmhouse garden spirit can scale from private backyards to neighborhood gathering spaces. Ultimately, the rustic farmhouse garden is a canvas where past and present converge while preparing for tomorrow. Its informal pathways, repurposed furnishings, vertical plantings, and sustainable features embody a design language that transcends temporary fashion. In small homes with open layouts, it becomes a living philosophy, resourceful, adaptable, authentic, and timeless. This is not a passing trend, but a movement toward rediscovering the essence of home, where every detail, whether a simple clay pot or a reclaimed wooden beam, contributes to a larger narrative of belonging and connection. Looking ahead, the rustic farmhouse garden is poised to become more than just a style. It is evolving into a long-term design philosophy that reflects global priorities around sustainability, well-being, and the blending of tradition with technology. The year 2025 marks a turning point where design trends are not only about aesthetics, but also about addressing environmental challenges, fostering community, and adapting to new ways of living. For small homes with open layouts, the rustic farmhouse garden embodies this shift by transforming limited outdoor areas into multifunctional sanctuaries that connect people to both heritage and the future. The rustic farmhouse garden of tomorrow continues to embrace its hallmarks: natural textures, organic materials, and repurposed objects. But it also integrates smart technologies that enhance efficiency without compromising charm. Imagine irrigation systems connected to weather sensors that optimize water use while remaining invisible within a bed of lavender or thyme. Picture solar panels disguised as rustic pergola roofs, powering not just lighting, but also outdoor cooking appliances or small garden tools. The goal is not to overwhelm the rustic aesthetic with high-tech features, but to weave innovation discreetly into the garden's fabric, allowing functionality and sustainability to coexist with authenticity. Climate-conscious design is increasingly central to the evolution of rustic gardens. As weather patterns shift and urban heat intensifies, homeowners are choosing resilient plants that require less water and withstand fluctuating conditions. Native species take precedence, ensuring ecological balance and supporting local pollinators. Mulching with organic matter, collecting rainwater in rustic barrels, and using reclaimed stone for pathways all demonstrate a commitment to eco-friendly practices that align naturally with the farmhouse aesthetic. These choices not only reduce environmental impact, but also enrich the sensory experience of the garden, making it feel deeply rooted in both place and purpose. The farmhouse garden of the future also emphasizes mental and physical well-being. In small homes, outdoor areas serve as vital retreats for relaxation, reflection, and restoration. Spaces are designed to be immersive. Reading corners surrounded by aromatic herbs, meditation decks crafted from reclaimed timber, or small yoga platforms shaded by climbing vines. The presence of greenery, water, and natural textures reduces stress and fosters mindfulness, reinforcing the garden as an antidote to digital saturation and urban density. The rustic aesthetic, with its imperfections and organic flow, mirrors the human need for authenticity and simplicity in an increasingly complex world. Personalization remains a driving force, but future rustic gardens will take it further by reflecting cultural stories and global influences. For some, this means incorporating regional crafts, woven baskets from local artisans, handmade pottery, or stonework unique to their heritage. For others, it involves blending rustic farmhouse charm with contemporary minimalism, or even integrating global rustic traditions, such as Mediterranean courtyards or Japanese wabi-sabi philosophies. This cross-cultural adaptation enriches the design, making every rustic garden a unique expression of identity while staying true to its timeless foundation. Furniture and decor will continue to balance nostalgia with innovation. Reclaimed wood benches may feature built-in storage for gardening tools. Wrought iron tables may be paired with lightweight, weather-resistant fabrics that mimic linen but last longer under outdoor conditions. Decorative elements, such as lanterns, terracotta pots, or vintage signage, will coexist with subtle modern comforts like outdoor heaters or compact sound systems, ensuring that gardens remain functional across seasons. The future of rustic design lies not in resisting change, but in adapting gracefully, ensuring that new conveniences feel like natural extensions of tradition. Community-centered living also plays a major role in shaping rustic farmhouse gardens. With the rise of urban villages and co-housing models, outdoor spaces are increasingly shared. Future rustic gardens will incorporate community vegetable beds, collective composting stations, and shared seating areas that encourage conversation and cooperation. The informal, welcoming spirit of the farmhouse style makes it a perfect fit for these communal environments, offering warmth and inclusivity in spaces where people gather, dine, and grow together. The aesthetic trends of rustic farmhouse gardens will also expand into storytelling. More than ever, homeowners are curating spaces that narrate their values and experiences. A weathered wheelbarrow turned into a flower bed may recall family history, while a hand-carved wooden gate may symbolize craftsmanship passed down through generations. Future design will highlight not only physical beauty, but also the narratives embedded in every object, every pathway, and every arrangement of plants. These stories transform gardens into living museums of memory and meaning, where the rustic style is enriched by personal and cultural context. Looking forward, rustic farmhouse gardens are expected to evolve in response to global design movements. The fusion of rustic authenticity with biophilic design principles will deepen the connection between humans and nature. The integration of renewable technologies will redefine functionality while preserving character. The prioritization of wellness will ensure that gardens remain restorative sanctuaries, even in compact homes. And the blending of cultural influences will keep the style fresh, dynamic, and globally relevant. What began as a revival of traditional farmhouse charm has become a blueprint for the future of small space living, where every design choice reflects care for people, place, and planet. Ultimately, the rustic farmhouse garden in small homes with open layouts is not a fleeting fashion, but a timeless response to enduring human needs. The need for connection, the desire for comfort, and the longing for beauty rooted in authenticity. By combining old-world materials with modern innovation, embracing sustainability, and fostering community, these gardens are more than decorative landscapes. They are visions of how we wish to live in the future. They remind us that even within the limits of space, design can create boundless experiences of warmth, serenity, and belonging.